is in the oxidation 5 we are dealing with the selenium dioxide and the lead tetraacetate. So in the selenium dioxide, this selenium dioxide will oxidize. First you see the structure of the selenium dioxide. Okay, so you know that selenium double bond O double bond O. Okay, that is your selenium dioxide. That will be the structure, and what it basically does is when the selenium dioxide will oxidize the methylene group, reactive methylene group, up to the ketones or the aldehydic forms. Okay, aldehydic groups respectively. So moving on to preparation, and let's begin with the preparation. So for the preparation we have to take the selenium in presence of an air, that is your oxygen. Upon heating you will end up with the selenium dioxide. In the solvents, what are the solvents we have to use, right? So that will the question, that will be the questions which will be come into your mind. So the solvents are ether, THF, tetrahydrofuran, 1,4-dioxanes, ethanol or methanol, acetic acid, and water. Okay, so remember this, whatever the solvent used, with little quantity of water only should be added. Whatever you will add the solvent, and so to that you have to add only little bit of the water. And then moving on to here, the selenium dioxide will dissolve in water, giving the selenious acid. Okay, that when you do the recrystallization, I'll tell you, I'll show you the selenious acid, how it will be there, which is the actual reagent. Okay, this selenious acid is only the actual reagent, because if we will do the reaction, and if you will synthesize that crude product, from the crude product you have to extract an acid. So from that crude product you have to add the acetic acid, and then you have to recrystallize that with the acetic acid, that whatever the recrystallized product is there, that is your pure product, that is your actual product. Okay, so because of that only we are telling this is the actual reagent. And then moving on to application. In the applications part you have three applications. The first one is it can be oxidize the allylic or the benzylic positions, and then it will oxidize alpha position of the electron withdrawing group. Remember, it is an electron withdrawing group, of alpha position of an electron withdrawing group, and then dehydrogenation reactions. Okay, so moving on to next slide. And so here I will show you certain examples. That is, if we are taking the aldehyde, that is your acetaldehyde, what happens here is this aldehyde is not getting oxidized, but instead of that this CH3 methylene groups is getting oxidized to aldehyde group. Okay, so similarly if you are taking the acetone, that time what happens, this CH3 is getting affected, is oxidized to your or CHO, that is your aldehyde. And in some cases, in very rare cases, what happens is for your minor product this will also get oxidized. Okay, that is for your minor product. So moving on to here, in the third reaction, if you will see, again this methylene group is affected and it is oxidized in the presence of selenium dioxide, it is resulting you an aldehyde. And then this active methylene, here everywhere you are seeing the methyl group, so it is resulting you an aldehyde. Right, so here if you will see, it is the methylene, active methylene group of your CH bond, and when this is the case, at that time it will result in the ketones group. Okay, so moving on to next slide. So what happens in the case of an unsymmetrical ketones? So in the case of an unsymmetrical ketone, on the highly alkylated alpha position, this is your highly alkylated alpha position which gets readily oxidized. Okay, so this position is getting oxidized to your ketone groups. Okay, then moving on to mechanism, how the alpha position of the carbonyl compound, right, how it is getting affected. So if you are taking this carbonyl CH3 and then in CH aldehyde group, and then what happens here, ketone group, and then this bond shifts over here, and then this again shifts when this comes and attacks here, this bond will go and attack to the selenium, and meanwhile this bond will shift, make it as a negative charge O minus, as that O minus will abstract the proton. When that will abstract the proton, at that time this bond will shift, make it as a double bond, resulting you in this adduct. Okay, once you are getting this adduct, this can also be written it as similar fashion, right? This double bond O can shift towards this side and this OH can come towards this side, right? And then moving on to next, if you will see this structure, you can do the sigmatropic rearrangement. Sigmatropic rearrangement if we will do, 2 3 sigmatropic rearrangement, and so it is like 1 2 3 and then again 1 2 3 and then 1 and 2. Alright, 2 3 sigmatropic rearrangement we are doing. One second, wait. If we will number from here 1 2 3 and then 1 2. Okay, 2 3 sigmatropic. So you are going towards this side, right? So this bond is going and attacking over here. This bond will shift if towards this side, and there is a cleavage of this bond from here. Okay, so you are resulting in this structure. Once you will get back this structure, at that time there is a dehydration reaction which is taking place. So what happens, the hydrogen, the bond which is present with the methylene, in that is your hydrogen bond, will open up and this bond shifts, and meanwhile this will break up. This whole moiety will go it as Se, that is your selenium will be cleaved out with one of the water molecule. Okay, so you are getting the dione compound with the cleavage of your selenium, that will go in the form of a black precipitate with the removal of your aqueous solvent. Okay, so moving on to next mechanism, we have studied in the application part, right? So it can affect either an allylic or the benzylic positions. So here, if we are taking an allylic compound, and so if we are treating it with the selenium dioxide, so how it will result? This hydrogen bond will shift over here, and then this alkene bond will go and attack to the selenium. Meanwhile, there is a shifting of this bond between the selenium. One of the bond shifts towards the oxygen atom, that is oxygen withdraw its electrons towards itself. Then it will reach it out as the O minus. Thus, when this will turn it out as an O minus, this will abstract the proton from here. Okay, so you are resulting in this adduct. That can also be written it as similar to this structure, right? So once you write here, you can number it as like 1 2 over here, 1 2 3 positions. Okay, so this is a 2 3 sigmatropic shift. If 2 position the oxygen atom is present, and in 3 position alkene group. So this bond will move, and then it will make one new bond. This bond again shifts, and then this whole moiety gets cleaved out from here. When only this bond is cleaving out, means that the O bond which is present over here, the attack, there is a formation of one new bond. Okay, so after the formation of this structure, what happens here is this bond will move, and then there is shifting of this OH bond, and one of the bond will shift over here, and then this bond will shift, and you will result in O minus. That O minus will again abstract the proton, resulting you in this structures. Okay, alcohol product will be formed over here with the elimination of your SeO, selenium oxide. And then moving on to next point, it is like if the tri-substituted alkenes are oxidized selectively, then the more substituted, I'll move on to the next slide, so I will show you that reaction. And so the most substituted double bond end, that will get affected. Okay, so that will result in the alcohols or the carbonyl compounds. So here is the reaction. So first you have to know why it is happening. So what will be the reaction, I will tell you. In the first step, if you will see here, in the initial ene step, okay, this is your ene step. Here the 4+2 cycloaddition takes place. So here if you will see, this bond is shifting over here, and then this bond again and will this alkene bond, ene bond, will come and attack to the selenium. Meanwhile, there is a shifting of this bond towards itself, like oxygen will withdraw its electron. So you will gain it as a negative charge. Okay, this is just a transition state it is showing. And then if you will see here, whatever the reaction I have shown, you will get to know over here, or that you can write it like, if you will write it in a ulta like fashion, like O minus you will result, right? That O minus will abstract the proton from here. So you will result in this structure. Once you will get back this structure, this can also be written it as like this, right? Alright. So this is a cyclic transition state, wherein in cyclic transition state of 2,3 sigma tropic shift. Whatever you are showing here, initially first there is the E4 plus 2 cycloaddition, and then now it will result in the 2,3 sigma tropic shift. Okay, so here what happens is, this bond will shift over here, and then this bond will shift, and then there is a cleavage of this moiety. Alright, right, when this gets cleaved out, you will end up with this product. So why we are doing this is, so if you have to understand this complete reaction, means you have to go through this point, means that is your or pi HOMO is to attack the pi star LUMO. Pi HOMO is attacking the pi star LUMO of your or selenium oxide. Meanwhile, the pi HOMO of selenium oxide will attack the sigma star LUMO of methylene group of an allyl group. Okay, I am not dealing with that HOMO LUMO and all, just because you have studied in your third sem. Okay, if you want me to do and show, you can ask me. I will do and I will send you. And then so because of that, all the reaction is taking place, and the E selectivity, that is, you have studied the E and Z isomers, right? So the E selectivity is due to the cyclic nature of the final. This is a cyclic nature, right, wherein you are getting this products and all. So this is in cyclic nature of the final 2,3 sigma tropic shift step, which will end you the alkyl substituted, which is adopting the pseudo equatorial position. Remember, this point is very important, this and this. So the alkyl substituent will adopt the pseudo equatorial position. Then moving on to next, lead tetraacetate. So that reagent is over selenium dioxide. So in the lead tetraacetate, as for you know that, you know the formula, right? Lead tetraacetate, CH3COO 4 times, and then Pb or PbOAc 4 times. Okay, so here this is the reagent wherein it will oxidize. It is also a good methylating and the acetoxylating agent. So here if we will move, it is an excellent oxidizing agent. Here in the preparation, what we will do is, we have to take the acetic acid, mixture of an acetic acid and an acetic anhydride, right? And when we'll mix this both of the solvents, and to that solvent we are mixing the red lead. Okay, if we'll mix that at 55 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius, as at that temperature will result in the lead tetraacetate. Alright, so one mole of your lead tetraacetate is formed, and then 2 moles of your lead diacetate is formed. Alright, right, with the liberation of your water molecule. Okay, so remember the temperature and the condition over here. It is very easy, preparation is very easy. And then if you have to do as you will do in the preparation, a synthesis lab. Okay, so first you will mix this solvent, and then you will add the red lead, and then you will get this product. When you will get the crude product, you have to do the filtration. Whatever the crude products will separate out, that you have to filter it, remove it, and then that pinch of that crude product you have to recrystallize it with an acetic acid. Okay, that I will show you in the upcoming slide, the picture of the crude product and the a recrystallized product. Okay, so here what is the uses is what it can do. So I have said you it is a good methylating and then oxylating acetoxylating reagent. So it will do that work, that job it is employing for that purpose. So here as an oxidizing agent, and what it does is, so it will take when an alcohol undergoes the treatment of the lead tetraacetate, it will result in an aldehydes or the ketones. Okay, so if we are taking the 1,2 glycols, that will end to an aldehydes, ketones, or both. It can either be an aldehyde or ketones, or it can result in both of the aldehydes and ketone mixture. Okay, and if we are taking in hydroxyquinones, it will give you only quinones as your product. Alright, and then moving on to here in next point, if you will see, so this is the thing, we are taking the diols. Okay, if we are taking the diols, that is your glycols, and then if we are treating it with the lead acetate, lead tetraacetate, what happens here is there is a formation of the complex moiety, right? When this goes and attacks towards your lead tetraacetate, one of the oxygen which is having a lone pair of electron will just go and attack to the lead. Okay, so what happens here is when it is going and attacking over here, at that time one of the CH3s, here there are 4 molecules of your CH3COOH. Alright, so one of the CH3COO minus will go and attack to your H. So it will result in the cleavage of your acetic acid. One of the acetic acid is getting cleaved out over here, and that's why you are seeing only 3 of the acetate molecules which is attached to your lead. Okay, so here 3 moles of your acetate ions are there present over here attached to the lead. Alright, so once you will get, you have to open up one of the acetate, then only the mechanism is possible. Alright, so what happens here is, first this oxygen, this double bond is there, no? That double bond will shift and then it will abstract the proton. Meanwhile this bond will shift towards this side, right? And then this bond will shift and there is a cleavage of whole of the moiety, that is your lead diacetate is getting cleaved out, and then you are resulting in 2 of the ketones moiety. Okay, that is your acetones, you are cleaving out with the acetone molecules. 2 of the acetones is getting cleaved out with the one of the cleavage of your lead acetate, diacetate, and 1 acetic acid which is cleaving out. So here it is in whole thing reaction it is showing, right? So here I am writing it here just to show you with the first step. Okay, this I am writing because we are showing the whole of the reaction. Because of that we have to know what are the products which are getting cleaved out and all. So this is your overall reaction product. Okay, then moving on to next, it is an oxidation of an alcohol. So here what we are taking is, we are taking the alcohols and then we are resulting with an aldehyde. At room temperature we will get a very good yield. Why we are using pyridine is to avoid over oxidation products, that is we don't want more of the aldehydes to be formed in our reaction. For that we are maintaining the pyridine as our solvent, that will act as the mild reagent. Then moving on to this next example. So if you are seeing here, again if we will take an alcohol, primary alcohol, and then we will get back our aldehyde upon oxidation with the lead tetraacetate upon pyridine as a solvent. And then if we are taking the secondary alcohols, at that time it will give oxidize to give you the ketones molecule. Okay, and then moving on to next point, it is alcohols can have the alcohols which is having the hydrogen atom in the delta carbon atom. Okay, so when the alcohols are present in the delta carbon, alpha, beta, gamma and delta. Okay, So in this position, if the alcohol group is present, at that time this may be cyclized to form the tetrahydrofuran. All right. Right, so what we are taking here is the starting material is your N-butanol, and then you are ending up with the tetrahydrofuran, and that is your THF, with the cleavage of PbOAC twice, that is your lead diacetate and 2 acetic acid molecule. So what we will do in the synthesis, right, for the preparation part, the same thing, the crude product will be looking like this, and this is your pure product for the selenious acid. Okay, sorry, I have put it the selenious crude product here, and then selenious acid recrystallized product over here. Okay, just see this one, because I have dealt with the lead tetraacetate. Don't get confused with that product and with that reagent. All right, thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box. In the upcoming class, I will be dealing with the lead tetraacetate of part 2. Okay, for further applications are there, I will be dealing with that topic.